Just want to make sure the sign looks right. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name's Justin, and today we're listening to Nightwish with their song Noise off of their album Human, I think 2, Nature, which was released in 2020 last year. It's been quite a long time since I've listened to Nightwish, so I figured, you know what? Why not see what they're up to? I saw that they had just released a new album, and by just released, I mean a year ago, about. But I wanted to see what they've been up to, and this was one of the singles, I believe, off of the album here. So I figured, why not take a listen, take a look, see what's going on. And I would actually love to recommend you guys a band that I had actually just recently discovered, that I think that if you're a fan of Nightwish and perhaps music like that, you might enjoy the band and song that I'm about to recommend to you. The band's name is Notion, which is actually a really cool name. I love that. It's like ocean, both an N, so it's Notion. And I'll recommend you their song, The Phantom, which just came out recently. I'll put a link in the description of the video here below. And you can give that a listen, and of course, if you like it, let me know. Let them know who sent you. Let them know Just JP sent you over there, and hope you enjoy the music. Without further ado, let's jump into Nightwish, though. You are more than welcome to join me on Twitter. Join me in the comments down below, and let's just jump into it. This is Nightwish with Noise. You guys couldn't hear me because I had the thing muted, but I said, all right, all right, all right. You're going to come at this song in one of two ways, okay? In my opinion. Either you're not really familiar with Nightwish and you really like this type of sound and you're like amazed by this and you're like you're like, this is the most fascinating thing I've heard. You know, their combination of rock, metal, and symphonic, I mean, it just works. And they have a certain formula and they rock it out, you know? You're either in that side or you're familiar with Nightwish, as I am. Like I've heard their albums before. Like I know who they are. I'm familiar with Floor, more so from After Forever, her previous band, more than her stint here in Nightwish now. But I'm familiar with their sound. I'm familiar with their albums. I know what they do. So if I'm being honest, the first 2 minutes I was like, it's all right. You know, it doesn't sound like anything new or better or different than what they've done before. As I mentioned, they got the Krabby Patty formula and they're not going to break it up because it sounds good. I can't deny that. This sounds good. It's just I'm so used to hearing this exact type of sound and riffing from them that it doesn't necessarily sound special from what I've heard before. You know, Planet Hell, this is not. Ghost Love Score, this is not. What was the other one? Dark Passion Play. What was the other one? Poet and the Pendulum. This is not. This is still a really solid song. And I think that after the 2 minutes, as it gets into the break of the song, that's when it really begins to shine. That's where all of the musicians really begin to shine just a little bit more. The orchestral arrangements, the keyboard work, Floor takes over, drumming becomes more intense. Everything just turns up and it feels good. And that's what I like to hear. Because in the first few minutes, I thought it was just kind of average. I was like, okay, it sounds like everything that they've been kind of doing before. It doesn't sound like any sort of evolution, any sort of different pattern. They got a formula, they stick to it, it sounds good, it's a good formula. But I would just like to, you know, hear the wheels turn a little bit. And in the break, at least we got a little bit of that in the progression through the song. Now, I really like this pre-chorus as well. When it softens everything up, we get some piano here. And those nice keyboard, choir-like sounds. And the strings, of course, coming in into a really nice and driving chorus. That's good. Like I said, it's fine. As we leave the second chorus and Floor sends us off into the stars, which is beautifully done, by the way, listen to the energy pickup from here. Like, now you can feel that there's some depth about to begin. And right here at 250 is where the song begins to pick up for me. I love the sound of the bass before the strings come in, extra strings here. I really like when we can hear the bass playing. Specifically bass played by Marco Hitala, sorry. Marco's a fantastic bass player. Sometimes he's a little bit buried in the mix, you know, part of the genre, part of metal and stuff like that. But when you do hear him, he's pulling strings and he's pulling them well. And then we just get into this monstrous breakdown here, which is always welcome in my book. This is awesome. And it works very well, once again, with the choir arrangements. And even this really, really rapid fire delivery from Floor is just filled with fiery intensity. Before it gets into another really cool breakdown, let me just let it go into that really quick. No. I love that, okay? That gets me. That's a type of sound and that's a type of breakdown and drum pattern that I'm always going to be like, I'm always going to be attracted to. I like that. So to hear a breakout here, welcome. And then we get some interesting digital effects here as they're speaking through perhaps vocoders and different effects before it gets into the ending here. And I think that's really cool, especially in lieu of the lyrics of the song, which I was trying to pay some attention to, and it seems like it was talking about technology and the bad side of technology. Let's talk about the lyrics while I'm speaking about them. Crave the machine, revere the screen. I love that. Crave the machine, revere the screen. That's really cool. Zoom in for flack and misery. Bleed some pixels. Really nice, really nicely written lyrics as well. And if there's one thing I want to say, the things that stand out to me the most are the arrangements, as they always do with Nightwish. Floor singing, which always, absolutely. And then the lyrics I feel are also nicely written. Shoot yourself, pose for the dead, have a near-life experience in the hot matrix. You know, like even in death, you're thinking about your likes. You're thinking about your pose. How do you look for that last picture, you know? And going back to that first verse, revere the screen. I like that. You know, craving the machine, it's like you can't help but pick up your phone sometimes. It's almost like an addiction, but, you know, it's part of modern day life, to be honest. But revere the screen. It's almost like you're worshiping the screen. Perhaps like when you're looking down at the screen, you're kind of bowing to it. Oh, that's kind of cool. Now you're a star, vain avatar, feeding the beast in your loud ego land. You have become tool of a tool. Digital ghouls telling you, shut up and dance. Like, nicely written lyrics. And it says here in an interview with Halapainen, he says that the song isn't about a criticism of technology, because everyone depends on technology, you know? But it's a criticism for the addiction that these things cause in human beings. Addiction is the word. And I think that rings really true. There's nothing wrong with technology. There's good and bad to technology, of course. But when it gets to the point of addiction and harm, whether you realize it or not, then it becomes a little bit more of a problem. So really good song, nice message. What else would you expect from a band like Nightwish? Of course, I would love to know your thoughts. You can join me on Twitter. You can join me in the comments down below. Don't forget to check out the band I mentioned earlier, Notion, with their song Phantom. I'll have the link down there for you so you can check them out. You can also support the channel on Patreon that way, but you don't have to. Just click the like button before you leave, before you head out. And besides that, that's all I have for you today, but I'll definitely see you tomorrow. Have a good day, guys. Bye.